Show my audience really quick. My speech tonight is over the issue of gun control. As I'm sure many of you are aware, it's an important issue in our country today. In light of the Aurora, Colorado shootings, the Newtown, Connecticut shooting, and the most recent Boston bombing, gun control is a big deal. It's probably bigger than it's ever been in this country, debate-wise, and it's the spark of a lot of political controversy. I'm going to talk to you tonight about how gun control and restricting certain firearms and ammunition does not work, how it's not going to stop the criminals from getting it. I'm going to talk to you how to obtain a firearm legally in Tennessee, and I'm going to discuss how making these changes to the Constitution is simply unconstitutional. In recent events with the Boston bombing, the brothers that bombed the marathon fired on police officers with an illegally obtained handgun. Like I said, was not registered, and this information is coming from the Cambridge, Massachusetts police spokesman, Dan Riviello. Now I'm going to discuss to you how to obtain a firearm legally in Tennessee. Gun laws, like I said, they differ from state to state. However, most states require a federal background check to purchase a firearm, and handgun permits are mandatory in some states. Tennessee state gun law, however, it requires that you be a minimum of 18 years old to purchase long rifles and shotguns, and a minimum of age of 21 to purchase handguns. Background check is run through the Tennessee Bureau of Investigation, and handguns require a carry permit, which is obtained by taking a class from a certified instructor. You have to fire that weapon to make sure that you can shoot straight and you're not going to kill someone else in the act of self-defense that you're not intending to kill. And like I said, this is done through a TBI background check. Tennessee also has age restrictions in place for purchasing ammunition. You must be 18 to purchase corresponding ammo for shotguns and long rifles, and 21 for handgun ammunition. Now, I've got a visual here showing, turn right to my TV. I don't know if you can see that very good. This is Rattlesnake Ridge Training and Sales. It's a handgun class. I'm sure you can't see that very well on the camera. I apologize. This is a handgun training class. They specialize in tactical weapons for law enforcement, military, and civilians. You can take your handgun permit class and achieve the concealed carry permit. This is 10 miles from Fort Campbell, Kentucky, and this is right outside Clarksville, Tennessee. If any of you are considering, like I said, purchasing a firearm, I highly suggest you check it out. Now that you've got an idea on how to obtain a firearm legally in Tennessee, I'd like to show you a few statistics. Firearms are necessary in the United States, whether they be used for hunting, self-defense, or competition shooting. The inevitable is that guns are here to stay. They've been in our country and will be in our world until the end of time. Most guns are obtained legally, but not everyone will always follow the rules. That's a given. According to Guardian.co.uk and gunpolicy.org, there are 89 guns for every 100 Americans, and in 2011 there were 11,101 homicides in the United States. This includes, however, police shootings and means of self-defense by citizens. It does not include all crimes committed with a firearm. With these statistics, it's enough to make a person think about purchasing a firearm for protection. Now that we have an idea about the rate of killings per year, I'd like to give you a bout of common sense. Yes, guns are dangerous in the hands of people with intent to harm others. Controversy over the past few months regarding ownership, the Second Amendment, and things of that nature with these shootings, it's caused gun sales to skyrocket, and ammunition is in extremely high demand. You cannot find 5.56 military rounds, pretty much any type of hunting round or anything of that nature. It's been wiped out of stores. About the only thing you can find right now is shotgun ammunition because it's short range and will not hit a target within a long distance. Certain politicians feel it's best to restrict certain type of weapons and place bans on certain firearms. In response to the Newtown and Aurora shootings, the spotlight has been placed on weapons with semi-automatic capabilities and high-capacity magazines. These changes are unconstitutional according to the Second Amendment, and the right to bear arms states that citizens have a right to keep modernized weapons comparable to that of the military and the government. Now, the key principle in the gun control debate, however, is that no matter what restrictions are put in place and no matter what particular weapons are banned, criminals can always obtain firearms through a black market, whether they're smuggled into the U.S., they could be stolen from a legal owner, and the serial numbers could be scratched off and erased. Not everyone is comfortable with a gun, and I completely understand that. There's people in my community, elderly, young people, it varies. They're not comfortable with a gun, but lawmakers simply can't prevent all gun crimes. The key to this gun control debate is to be informed and make an educated decision when you purchase a firearm. If you're interested in purchasing a firearm, I strongly advise you to discuss which type is right for you, whether it be with a gun dealer, a family member who owns a gun, or even someone you might know who's in police or law enforcement. It's easy for people to be turned away from something that the media exploits. I understand that within recent events, the media, they want to place emphasis on the popular AR-15 style semi-automatic rifle, which is the civilian version of what our military uses today overseas and fights with, and what they have been using for the past few years. Just an example of how uninformed people can be. When getting into gun control debates with someone who is against guns and would like to see gun control, they'll refer to the AR-15 as something of maybe a Colt or a Bushmaster. That's the brand of firearm. That's not the type. And that just shows how the media can get to someone and turn them away and say, oh, well, this is a Bushmaster. It's a bad gun. It's black. It's scary. It's illegal. That stuff, that turns people away, and all it does is get ratings, and it doesn't really show the true effect of how harmless a gun can be. After all, it is a tool. Again, gun laws are helpful to an extent, but banning certain weapons or keeping law-abiding citizens from owning a certain type is unconstitutional, and it will not stop criminals. I've explained that at events such as the Boston bombing manhunt, and the criminals used an illegally obtained weapon, and that the law-abiding citizens are the ones who purchase guns legally. As mentioned before, I understand that not everyone is all for owning a firearm, and it's a very important decision to make to become a firearm owner. The vast majority of U.S. citizens own firearms. They own them legally and are enjoying American heritage. And I persuade you to be informed of firearms, get to know them a little well, and if you have someone in your family or know someone who has a firearm and you're not familiar with them, talk to them about it and ask them what it's like to own one, how they went about obtaining that firearm, and get comfortable with it, because like I said, they're harmless tools. And a popular saying that I like to go by myself is that if guns kill people, then spoons make people fat and pencils misspell words. It's a simple tool. So I thank you for your time this evening and listening to my speech.